Once upon a time, there was a small town that lived in fear of a Simoleon, an ancient coin said to bring misfortune and death to whoever possessed it. Despite the rumors and superstitions, a greedy man named John decided he didn't believe in the curse and acquired the Simoleon for his own personal wealth. At first, John was pleased with his decision. He felt rich and powerful with the coin in his possession. However, strange things started to happen. Every night, he had ghostly whispers and felt cold breath on his neck. He saw shadows moving in the corners of his eyes and felt like someone was always watching him. One night, John woke up in a cold sweat, with the Simoleon clutched tightly in his hand. The room was filled with a ghostly mist, and he heard the sounds of a woman weeping. Suddenly, a ghostly figure appeared before him, her face twisted in rage. She pointed a bony finger at John and shouted, "You have taken what was not yours to take. The Simoleon belongs to me, and now you must pay the price." John screamed in terror as the ghostly figure lunged at him. He stumbled out of bed and ran for his life. But no matter where he went, the ghostly figure was always right behind him. He finally made it to the town square, where he threw the Simoleon on the ground and begged for forgiveness. The ghostly figure disappeared, and the curse was finally lifted. From that day on, the town was at peace, and the Simoleon was never seen again. But some say that on quiet nights, you can still hear the ghostly whispers and weeping, reminding all who would listen of the dangers of greed and the power of the curse of the Simoleon. Years had passed, and the townspeople thought that the curse of the Simoleon had been forgotten. But little did they know, the curse still lived on through John. He was haunted by the ghostly figure every night, unable to escape the terror that had consumed his life. One day, John met a young man named Jack who was fascinated by the legend of the Simoleon. John saw an opportunity to rid himself of the curse and told Jack the whole story. Jack was skeptical, but he saw the fear in John's eyes and believed him. Jack set out on a quest to find the Simoleon, hoping to break the curse and restore peace to the town. He searched high and low, going through old ruins and abandoned buildings, but he could not find the coin. Just when he was about to give up, he stumbled upon a hidden room in an old temple. There, lying in the center of the room, was the Simoleon. Jack picked up the coin and immediately felt a chill run down his spine. The ghostly figure appeared before him, pointing a bony finger at Jack. But instead of attacking, the ghost spoke to him in a soft voice. "You have come to break the curse, but it is not that simple. You must first understand why the curse was placed upon the Simoleon." The ghost then told Jack the story of a young woman who was wronged by a greedy man who stole the Simoleon from her. The young woman was so filled with anger and hatred that her spirit remained bound to the coin, unable to rest until the curse was lifted. Jack listened to the ghost story and realized that the only way to break the curse was to make amends for the wrong that was done so many years ago. He returned the Simoleon to the ghost and apologized for the actions of the greedy man. The ghost was satisfied and disappeared, lifting the curse forever. From that day on, the town was once again at peace, and the legend of the Simoleon became a story to be told for generations to come. And Jack, who had taken the first step in breaking the curse, became known as the hero of the town. Years went by, and Jack became a wealthy and respected man in the town. He had forgotten all about the Simoleon and the curse that once plagued the town. But one day, he received a letter from a distant relative who had discovered the Simoleon in an old chest. The relative wanted to sell the coin to Jack, believing it to be a valuable treasure. At first, Jack was hesitant to accept the coin. He remembered the terror that had once surrounded the Simoleon and feared that the curse would return. But his greed got the best of him, and he agreed to purchase the coin. As soon as Jack held the Simoleon in his hand, he felt a strange sensation. The ghostly figure appeared before him, her face twisted in anger. "You have broken your promise. You have taken the Simoleon once again, and the curse will never be lifted," the ghost shouted. Jack tried to return the Simoleon, but it was too late. The curse had already taken hold. He was plagued by strange occurrences, and the ghostly figure haunted him every night. He became a shell of his former self, consumed by fear and regret. Eventually, Jack realized that the only way to break the curse was to return the Simoleon to its rightful place. He traveled to the temple where he had first discovered the coin and returned it to its resting place. The ghost appeared before him once again, but this time she was at peace. "Thank you, Jack. You have learned the true meaning of redemption, and the curse is finally lifted," the ghost said before disappearing into the ether. From that day on, Jack lived a peaceful life, free from the curse of the Simoleon. He used his wealth and influence to help others and ensure that the story of the Simoleon was never forgotten. The curse was finally broken, and the town was at peace once again. Years went by, and the story of the Simoleon became just that, a story. But one day, a young woman named Sarah stumbled upon the legend while studying the history of the town. She was fascinated by the tale and set out to find the Simoleon, hoping to uncover the truth behind the curse. Sarah's search took her to the temple where Jack had returned the coin, but to her surprise, the Simoleon was nowhere to be found. She was determined to solve the mystery and continued her search, going through old archives and speaking with the town's elders. One night, Sarah had a vivid dream in which she was approached by the ghostly figure from the legend. The ghost told Sarah that the Simoleon had been stolen by a greedy man and that the curse would never be lifted until the coin was returned to its rightful place. Sarah was determined to break the curse and set out on a journey to find the stolen Simoleon. Her search took her to a dark and dangerous place, where she encountered the greedy man who had taken the coin. Sarah was no match for the man, but she refused to give up. With determination in her heart, she fought back and was able to retrieve the Simoleon. With the coin in hand, Sarah returned to the temple and placed it in its rightful place. The ghost appeared before her, her face filled with peace. "Thank you, Sarah. The curse is finally lifted, and the Simoleon can rest in peace," the ghost said before disappearing into the ether. From that day on, Sarah was known as the savior of the town, and the story of the Simoleon became a tale of courage and determination. The curse was finally broken, and the town was at peace once again. And Sarah, who had uncovered the truth behind the legend, became a legend in her own right. Years went by, and the legend of the Simoleon became just that, a legend. But one day, a group of archaeologists stumbled upon a temple while exploring an ancient ruin. They were amazed to find a coin, unlike any they had ever seen before, lying on an altar. Excited by their discovery, the archaeologists took the coin back to their laboratory for further study. But as soon as they touched the coin, they felt a strange sensation. The ghostly figure appeared before them, her face twisted in anger. "You have taken the Simoleon. The curse will never be lifted until the coin is returned to its rightful place," the ghost shouted. The archaeologists were terrified and quickly realized that they had uncovered the legendary Simoleon. They knew they had to return the coin to its rightful place to break the curse. But the journey was treacherous, and the group faced many challenges along the way. Finally, after much effort, the archaeologists reached the temple and returned the Simoleon to its rightful place. The ghost appeared before them, her face filled with peace. "Thank you for respecting the wishes of the past. The curse is finally lifted, and the Simoleon can rest in peace," the ghost said before disappearing into the ether. From that day on, the archaeologists were hailed as heroes, and the story of the Simoleon became a tale of bravery and determination. The curse was finally broken, and the town was at peace once again. And the Simoleon, which had once caused so much terror, became a symbol of hope and inspiration. Years went by, and the legend of the Simoleon became just a distant memory. But one day, a young archaeologist named Jason stumbled upon a journal while going through his late grandfather's belongings. The journal was filled with notes and sketches of an ancient temple and a mysterious coin. Jason was immediately intrigued and set out to find the temple and the coin. Jason's search took him to a remote village in the mountains, where he met an old man who told him about the legend of the Simoleon. The old man warned Jason of the curse and told him that the temple was guarded by the ghost of a woman who had been wronged by the coin. Undeterred by the warning, Jason set out to find the temple and the Simoleon. After days of searching, he finally found the temple and the coin. But as soon as he touched the coin, the ghost appeared before him, her face twisted in anger. "You have taken the Simoleon. The curse will never be lifted until the coin is returned to its rightful place," the ghost shouted. Jason was terrified but knew that he had to return the coin to its rightful place to break the curse. He set out on a journey that would take him through treacherous mountains, dangerous forests, and across rushing rivers. He encountered many obstacles along the way, but he refused to give up. Finally, after much effort, Jason returned the Simoleon to its rightful place. The ghost appeared before him, her face filled with peace. "Thank you for respecting the wishes of the past. The curse is finally lifted, and the Simoleon can rest in peace," the ghost said before disappearing into the ether. From that day on, Jason was hailed as a hero, and the story of the Simoleon became a tale of bravery and determination. The curse was finally broken, and the town was at peace once again. And the Simoleon, which had once caused so much terror, became a symbol of hope and inspiration. Years went by, and the legend of the Simoleon had become just a distant memory, a story passed down from generation to generation. But one day, a young woman named Sarah stumbled upon an old manuscript while going through her great-grandmother's belongings. The manuscript was filled with notes and sketches of an ancient temple and a mysterious coin. Sarah was immediately intrigued and set out to find the temple and the coin. Sarah's search took her to a remote village in the mountains, where she met an old man who told her about the legend of the Simoleon. The old man warned Sarah of the curse and told her that the temple was guarded by the ghost of a woman who had been wronged by the coin. Undeterred by the warning, Sarah set out to find the temple and the Simoleon. After days of searching, she finally found the temple and the coin. But as soon as she touched the coin, the ghost appeared before her, her face twisted in anger. "You have taken the Simoleon. The curse will never be lifted until the coin is returned to its rightful place," the ghost shouted. Sarah was terrified, but knew that she had to return the coin to its rightful place to break the curse. She set out on a journey that would take her through treacherous mountains, dangerous forests, and across rushing rivers. She encountered many obstacles along the way, but she refused to give up. Along the way, Sarah met a wise old sage who told her the story of the Simoleon. The sage explained that the coin had been created to symbolize the unity of the different tribes that lived in the area. But greed and power struggles had corrupted the leaders of the tribes, and the coin had become a symbol of their desire for control. The ghost was the woman who had been wronged by the coin and had been cursed to guard it forever. With this knowledge, Sarah finally understood the true purpose of the Simoleon and was filled with a sense of purpose. She redoubled her efforts and finally returned the Simoleon to its rightful place. The ghost appeared before her, her face filled with peace. "Thank you for respecting the wishes of the past. The curse is finally lifted, and the Simoleon can rest in peace," the ghost said before disappearing into the ether. From that day on, Sarah was hailed as a hero, and the story of the Simoleon became a tale of bravery, determination, and understanding. The curse was finally broken, and the town was at peace once again. And the Simoleon, which had once caused so much terror, became a symbol of hope, unity, and inspiration. Years went by, and the legend of the Simoleon was passed down from generation to generation. And the story of Sarah, who had bravely returned the coin to its rightful place, became a legend in its own right. And so, the story of the Simoleon lives on, a testament to the courage, determination, and wisdom of those who dare to face the unknown.